topsport.com.au. Now we're kicking off another week. It is Super Bowl Monday, so we're actually going to go to a nice little birdie Super Bowl event. Can't wait to start drinking very shortly. But we've actually got old mate Benyam Kidane in studio today. BK, my man,
in full effect. What's going on, brother?
You know, listen, it's Super Bowl Monday. You know, like the NBA kind of takes a back seat today, doesn't it?
It's all about football today, but there's still plenty of NBA action out there.
There is, and we've actually surprisingly still got a lot to talk about because
it don't sleep.
Yeah, it does not stop. We're going to start off BK with old mate Josh Giddey. Second career triple-double yesterday, had 11 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Thunder go down to the Chicago Bulls, 106-101. Second youngest triple-double ever behind Josh Giddey, which is also a new franchise record. Most triple-doubles by a Thunder rookie. Your mate Russell Westbrook, or Russell Westbrick, previously had that, and he only had one in his rookie season.
And also the only other teenager besides Luka Doncic to have multiple triple-doubles as well. So again, another week where just Giddey's name is put alongside these kind of guys, and it just keeps happening. Like,
we keep talking about Giddey. We mentioned it how many times, how good he is, and we also know that Evan Mobley's still probably the front runner for Rookie of the Year, but Giddey's won 3 consecutive Western Conference Rookie of the Month awards. He keeps having performances like this. You know, obviously I think the Thunder record is going to hinder him, you know, in the long run. Obviously the Cavs are doing so well, going to make the playoffs. But can he maybe pull off a surprise Rookie of the Year win?
I honestly think he can. And Mobley, you're right, has probably been the best performer. But I think Giddey has been the most consistent of the rookies this season. And the thing that's impressed me the most is he's played, you know, we're at the 50-game mark now. The rookie wall isn't really there for Josh Giddey. He's kind of just pushed through that. He's maintained that high level of play, and you know he's never played 50 games in a year in his life. So the fact that he's kind of still maintained that level at this point in the season, the Thunder, they obviously are not playing to win a ton of games. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that sort of last 30 games looks like for Josh Giddey, when they really can just kind of go, okay, here's the ball.
Yeah. Just give him free reign and go for it. You know, you mentioned that rookie wall thing, which is a great point, because I always say that the rookies are going to hit it at some point, whether it's 40, 50, 60 games, they're going to hit it. He hasn't really shown signs of that. And another guy that didn't really show signs of that, I think, is Lamelo Ball last year as well. I was like, no, he's definitely going to hit it, but he didn't quite. I mean, he may have had like a lull, I can't really remember, but you know, he didn't really show signs of that fatigue. Do you think the fact that these guys have come through like the NBL helps them with that, in terms of, like, they've played, you know, in that sort of professional level, high level against grown men, professional athletes? Does that help them, you reckon, in sort of preparing better than maybe what a college season would?
Absolutely. I think, you know, it's the number of games is one thing, but I think it's just the level of physicality and the intensity of playing in a professional environment before you make that leap to the NBA. That definitely matters. That definitely counts. And you can kind of see it with these guys. You know, availability, you know, is a skill. And you know, Lamelo was great in that regard. He obviously had that injury. Missed about 20 games last season, but then, you know, Giddey's been there the whole time for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So you can kind of tell that definitely does make a difference for these young guys that are coming out of the pro leagues.
He's set to play in the All-Star, well, not the All-Star game, but at All-Star weekend, playing in the Rising Stars game, and he's also going to be in the Skills Challenge, BK. What do you reckon? He's going to come home with some sort of silverware there from the Skills Challenge?
Hey, as Denzel says, I'm leaving with something. He's from around the way.
He's from around the way. I love it, BK. All right, we're going to move on to LeBron James. Now, the King just keeps on setting records and, you know, racking up the accolades. He's definitely leaving with something too. He actually passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar yesterday for total combined points. Now, the NBA usually their records are based off the regular season. But in terms of regular season and playoff points scored, he passed Kareem for total there. He did it, I believe, in 181 games less. He needed just 19 points yesterday to pass him. Got it in the third quarter. He's going to pass Karl Malone this season because I think he's about 400 odd behind Malone. To pass Kareem for total career regular season points, he's probably going to do it at some stage next season because I think he's about 1,200 off or something like that.
Yeah, he's on track to get there next season. Which what we're talking about this is insane because it's never like we've looked at LeBron as he's one of the best scorers or the purest. Like he was the Magic playmaker, do it all kind of guy. So the fact that he's just casually strolling his way to 40,000 points is nuts. And when you add the playoff stuff in there, like LeBron's playoff records are crazy. He's like first or second in like everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you've played for 17 years at such a high level, like I would expect you to be up there. And that Kareem record, I remember seeing that as a kid, like watching basketball for so many years and just constantly thinking like, that's never going to be broken. Who's going to score more points than Kareem? And here you've got LeBron, in year 17, averaging 29.1 points a game, which I think is second in the league, going to probably break that next year. And then it's like, well, he could possibly play another year after that. Like, he's going to obliterate it, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to be done in 2 years. Like, I could see LeBron playing beyond 40 easily. The way this guy looks after his body. And as you said, it's not like he's on the way down. If this is the decline, if your decline is 29 points a game, then come on.
Yeah, no, this is, especially in year 17, this is unheard of.
Like, year 19,
sorry, year 19. Like, you look at somebody like Carmelo Anthony, who is known as a scorer, who's basically been known as only a scorer, I guess, for his career. And he's in granted, he was out of the game for a season and a half or whatever it was, but their games, they're at two completely stages of their, careers right now.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this. And I'm a big Carmelo fan, so this is not taking anything away from Carmelo. This is more to highlight how absolutely phenomenal LeBron has been.
This isn't even the thing he's the best at.
Yeah, that's exactly very valid point. Like you said, he's never been known as a scorer. When people do that comparison between MJ and Jordan, and it's always, Jordan could score points, he could clutch and this and that, but numbers don't, like, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Facts. The numbers are there, like, that's concrete evidence.
And there's that argument that's like, it's just because he's played forever. That means something.
It does. I mean, look, I'm a Jordan guy too, so he's not taken away. I don't want to get into one of those, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe or whatever, but Jordan took couple of breaks from the NBA, one at the height of his career, and then he retired again and came back. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, doing this for 20 years straight is outrageous.
It is. It's outrageous. Another guy, actually, who probably could be challenging for this points total, maybe, you don't know, Kevin Durant. Now, he's been out injured, obviously, BK, we know this. The Nets are in absolute free fall at the moment. They've lost 11 in a row. Before we get on to Durant, actually, are you walking back your Nets championship prediction? Because it's not looking good, my friend.
Son, I'm squirming. I was confident till about the weekend. I was like, especially because the next, I think, four of their games, three are on the road. Three are at home, and then the one road game's at MSG. So they're not going to have Kyrie. Kevin Durant's still out. I'm looking at this team like, I don't know if you can come back from this, but we're still talking about them on paper. So I'll stand by them, but it is not looking good in BK right now.
I was watching that game yesterday, and I was just like, especially once they lost, I was like, guys, reinforcements are coming soon. They're coming soon. Just hold the fort. But like you said, Kyrie's not eligible to play the next few games. Harden's gone. Durant's out. Like, who's left?
It's all Patty Mills. Let's go.
It's all Patty Mills. Now, speaking of Durant, we're not sure when he will be back, but Steve Nash mentioned that he has ramped up the on-court activity in his preparation to come back. They haven't set a definite timetable, though, but how desperately do they need him right now?
Oh, they need him for sure. 11 straight. I mean, the big thing for the Nets is they need KD to come back healthy and ready for the postseason. But the way things are going right now, I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, but seeding's going to matter in the Eastern Conference, so they need to get right soon.
Well, speaking of that, they're actually just one game in front of Charlotte, who is in 9th.
Yeah, that's not what we expected before the season started.
And like we said, when they were on that 7-game skid, and we said that no team had won a championship after having lost 7 in a row. Like, no team's winning a championship after... I'm sorry, BK. You're going to have to change your prediction because no team's going to win a championship after having gone on an 11-game
And Ben Simmons is going to save the day.
What year? In 2022-23 or like...
We shall see.
We shall see. Okay, TBD, to be determined. All right, another guy we're going to quickly talk about now, Joel Embiid. Like, I love Joel Embiid so much, man. Like, or shall I call him Troel Embiid? Because
he does it so well.
He's the king of that. He had a hilarious Twitter post that we're going to show up on the screen right now, right after Simmons got traded. Now, for the people that don't know the backstory to this photo, this guy had posted the photo saying that he'd gone to his hater's funeral to make sure that he was dead.
Embiid's comments after, when he was asked about it in the post-game press conference, just completely playing oblivious. Like, this guy is so funny.
Yeah, what did he say? He said something like, I like the way he was dressed, and that's why I posted it. Like,
come on.
Like, come on, fam, you knew what you were posting.
With a straight face, come on.
He knew what he was posting, but he was actually had some not so subtle words in that same press conference for Ben Simmons. So he had a quote, and he said, "It's unfortunate that winning was not the biggest factor for Simmons. It's unfortunate that having his own team and I guess being a star was more of his priority. The fit was great between them," he goes, "but unfortunately, Ben didn't think it was." And then he went on to call Harden the best teammate that he's had.
Yeah, look, I don't necessarily agree with what Joel is saying there. I mean, I don't think it was ever about, I need my own team, I need to be a star. It was more about the fit between the two of them, which whilst they won a lot of regular season games together, the fit wasn't great. We saw it unravel in the playoffs every season. So in terms of Harden being the best teammate he's ever had, that's 100% right.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, you could argue Jimmy Butler that season, he was there in Philly, was probably the next guy, but I'll take 32-year-old half a hamstring James Harden right now, probably over Butler then. I think Harden's going to come back healthy and be great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even Charles Barkley was joking about that. He was like, no, he's putting icy hot on his hamstring.
Just wait.
Excuse me. I don't disagree with that. I mean, on paper, yes, okay, he's probably the best teammate that he's had. I just think it was a little bit too soon to make a call like that. It just does come. But then again, I do love the pettiness. So
no, he's burning the house down.
He's burning all of it down. But look, he finished it all off by saying, look, that's all I'm going to say on Ben Simmons. I do wish him the best. We're moving forward. I'm curious to see how this plays out, though, in terms of that fit between Harden and Embiid. They definitely do fit better than Simmons and Embiid. And that was, like you said, that was something like we used to see that and be like, nah, these two guys can't win a championship. They just don't fit.
They just occupied too many of the similar positions on the court. And when you think about a Harden Embiid pick and roll, I mean, that's going to be dangerous in its own right. But then they can really go to that your turn, my turn, and either option is devastating. I mean, Embiid's the best post player in the league. Harden's still one of the best perimeter guys in the league. Like, they can kind of hit you in any direction. This Philly team is looking nice. Like, they're really set up nicely.
They are, and you know what? I might be walking back remember we were talking about Giannis and Embiid, best player in the world, and I was sticking with Giannis. Yanni, I still love you, man, but Embiid, I think, is probably the best player in the world right now. So I'm walking that one back.
I don't hate that because he went on that tear and I was like, all right, maybe he's going to fall back a little bit. Not only has he not stopped, he's getting better.
Yeah.
He had a 40-point triple-double the other day.
Yeah, he does not look like he's slowing down. And that was one of my concerns when he first went on that tear. I was like, can he keep this thing up? And
yes.
Yes.
Emphatically.
Emphatically is the answer right there. I want to talk a little bit about Luka Doncic, BK. He loves playing against the Los Angeles Clippers, doesn't he?
He hates the Los Angeles Clippers.
So Luka Doncic yesterday, listen, man, he's been hooping. Yesterday against the Clippers, he had 45 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. They did lose, though, to the Clippers, but that was following a career-high 51-point game against them a couple of days before that. He's the first Mavs player in history with back-to-back 45-point games. I was actually surprised that I would have thought Dirk at some point might have had a little, stretch of 40-point games, but I was surprised at that. So he's the first Mavs player to do that. And 8 of his top 11 highest-scoring games have come against the Los Angeles Clippers.
I hope they somehow find a way to play each other in the postseason again.
Inject it into my veins.
But the Porzingis trade obviously, changes the landscape of this team. And now it's just Luka and a bunch of role players. Is that going to be a long-term kind of thing? Is that the way the Mavs are going to try and play this? Or are they going to try and go out and maybe find a second star? But Jason Kidd did have some interesting words about that. He was saying it could be a team where there's no real second star. You've just got guys who play roles at a very high level. Similar to that 2011 team. You had one superstar and the rest were burgers.
Wait, he was on that team too. Is he calling himself a burger?
He's calling the current team and the 2011
burgers. Wow. J Kidd.
Hey, burgers are nice.
I like burgers, but I don't think that's exactly what he's talking about right there.
But do you think that's feasible for the Dallas Mavericks to just go, we're just going to let Luka cook and put the right kind of role players around him?
Not in the modern NBA. I think 2011, you probably could. And I think 2011, look, if LeBron plays like LeBron in 2011, I don't think the Mavs win despite Dirk's, going Super Saiyan on them from, what was it, game 4 onwards or something like that.
They didn't lose a game after that.
Yeah, so I think if LeBron actually played like LeBron that series, the Heat still win it. But I don't think in the modern NBA, I think in the modern NBA, you're going to need to have more than one option.
Especially just because every elite team that you look at, they have a minimum of 2 All-Stars, some 3.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, especially when you can just kind of throw your entire defense at Luka Doncic and go, all right, I'm going to let Dorian Finney-Smith and Tim Hardaway Jr. beat me. Teams will live with that.
And I think they had better shooters on that 2011 team too to complement Dirk.
For sure. This is not a great Mavs team by any stretch.
And I do think that at some point they're going to have to get help for Luka because, if they don't, we've seen what happens when players get disgruntled.
Straight up out of there.
Out of there. He's going to ask for a trade. Yeah, I mean, if they continue to be mid-level playoff, or if they continue to decline, he's going to be out of there.
If we get to year 6 or year 7 with Luka and he's got no help,
and he's still making first-round exits, then he's gone. So,
but they know that. Mark Cuban knows that.
Look, the Mavs have done. They've been fortunate that they had Dirk and they were able to build around him for so long. So now it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of build around a different kind of player in Luka.
Yeah, he's there for the long haul. Obviously he came up, under Dirk Nowitzki, he came up with that mantle of pretty much being the second coming of Dirk, but they can't rely on that.
No.
They can't just be like, he'll just stay here forever.
That's right. Listen, not many players are as loyal as Dirk.
Yeah.
Stick around for as long as he did. BK, we're going to talk about one more thing and then we're going to get off to this Super Bowl party. All right, we're going to do a bit of buying or selling now, right? And we're going to be talking about the Sacramento Kings, actually. They're 2-0 since making the trade. Tyrese Halliburton, essentially, for Domas Sabonis. Undefeated, right? Granted, it's a small sample size, right? They're undefeated since the trade. Were we too hard on the Kings?
Yes, and for good reason. They've given us no reason to have much faith in their in their moves, but they're 2-0 since the trade. Sabonis has been really good and actually looks like a pretty good fit on this team. And it's something we were talking about before. I look at Sabonis as this guy's an all-star. He's a veteran. This guy's 25.
Yeah.
You forget how young Sabonis actually is. So I'm going to give them time. There's still a couple of games out of the play-in seeds, and that's ultimately where they want to be this season. But as a right now move, it's not the worst. Sabonis is a good player.
And if you remember when the trade was done, I was like, on the surface, this is not a bad trade because you're getting a 2-time All-Star guy that averaged 19 points last year. Like you said, he's only 25 years old. Right, so on the surface, it's not a bad trade. People were acting like they traded him for some dude from Venice Beach or something. This guy's a baller. I'm not buying that we were too hard on the Kings right now because they're still the Sacramento Kings,
Exactly.
right? Now, that trade was basically... The reason people were upset is because they were judging it off what Halliburton could be and the potential that, he's shown. And don't get me wrong, he's shown...
And that's fair.
That's fair, right? It's still, like I said, it's a good deal on the surface. I'm not buying this because it is the Sacramento Kings, and the Sacramento Kings are going to Sacramento King until the end of time. Until they show me different, I have no faith in that organization whatsoever.
They're off to a good start. 2-0.
2-0 is a very small sample size, BK.
It could be as good as it gets.
Yes, it could be as good as it gets. And I know this because I'm a New York Knicks fan. So we're still living off the glory of 1994.
It was a good year.
It was a good year, except for John Starks shooting 2 of 16 in Game 7.
Why are you bringing up old stuff?
It's gone. All right, BK, we're going to get out of here. We're going to get off to this Super Bowl party. We're going to take a look at some Super Bowl odds, though, and we're going to get our Super Bowl picks. Now, look, I don't know much about NFL. Some people could argue I don't know much about NBA either, BK, but we're going to get these picks off regardless. All right, the LA Rams here, $1.49 favorites. The Bengals, $2.84. The Lions at 4.5. Totals at 48.5. This one's live on 7, mate, and ESPN. BK, now, as you know, I am an avid Arsenal fan in the English Premier League. We are owned by Stan Kroenke. Stan Kroenke also owns the LA Rams. And for that reason alone, right, just call me Silky Johnson here because I'm hate. For that reason alone, I'm going for the Bengals.
Hey, shout out Joe Burrow, man.
Listen, Stan Kroenke hasn't done much for us Arsenal fans, so I hope Cincinnati wins this thing.
Well, I'm going to go against you because Odell Beckham is my guy.
Yep.
I don't have an NFL team. I just follow Odell wherever he goes, so I'm rocking with the Rams.
All right, so we've got the Rams and the Bengals. Hate towards Stan Kroenke, hashtag Kroenke out. That's just me getting my frustrations out as a long-suffering Arsenal fan. BK, we're going to catch you again on Friday morning. We're going to go off and get these drinks into us and enjoy the day. We'll catch you guys on Wednesday morning. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA Show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you.